They didn't even call. Just a message. You're not wanted at dinner. Logan's girl isn't okay with you being there. 3 hours before, I'd sent 120 to help my folks rescue their dying shop. I looked at the note, saw it twice, then wrote one word back. Fine. That was all it needed. Not anger. Not crying. Just a flip. In quiet, I pulled my computer, hit stop on one transfer, then another, then 157 extra. I finished paying for my own removal. On the board over my table was a tan folder worn, left behind. It kept the contract I wrote 10 years back. Back when I believed putting in family meant care. Turns out, it meant control, strength. They believed they were planning a meeting. They didn't realize I still kept the rights. And on Friday evening, I'd be set to make the closing part. The last time I grabbed a painting tool, I was 18. It was a wide, square tool marked with navy paint, my favorite shade because it showed me of choice. That day, I had pulled an envelope from the California School of the Arts, full money offer, shiny papers, a fresh start sitting on the west side. I recall how I drifted for weeks, sure that this was my time, my exit, my shot to be myself. My mom wept drops of happiness. My dad grabbed my palm like I was grown for the first time. And then the family talked. I sat in the front room, the same one I'd later change all the things in with my own cash. My father put a paper on the center table like it was some holy item. Wharton business class for Logan. Your sibling has true ability, he said, voice kind but done. This place could fix his world, and we're low, just low enough that if you waited a year or two away. I recall cutting in. I have a grant. It wasn't about cash. That's just what it's about. My mother added in. We just need to wait. Your work will still be here. Your sibling only gets one try. They named it family giving. They said, we'll pay it up to you. But they never did. I stored my approval note and signed to a nearby business class instead. I stayed at home. I drove to lessons. I worked evenings. I paid for the business, the kind of work they could tell their pals about. I rose the steps, earning solid cash. And every bonus, every bump, every money win I had, they grabbed as a win for the group. That's when it began. The soft draining. I covered Logan's place when he lost his first work talk. I handled Mom's plastic because the rewards are on your title anyway. I wrote the car deal for Dad to see more business for shop trips. Then arrived the business plan. High-grade handmade gift place downtown family history. They sold it like it was ours. They used words like, you're a full member. And our title, our mark. But deep inside, I was just the quiet supporter. The note maker, the hidden hand holding everything up while they stood for opening cutting pictures without me. The worst bit, I allowed them because for years, I trusted the story that care meant work, that quiet meant power. That if I just offered enough cash, wait, hope, they would finally notice me, not as their backup plan, but as their match. I sat for 15 years. And they offered that dinner spot to a girl my sibling had met for 6 months. All it needed was one message to break everything. But what they didn't know, what they never knew was that while I'd hidden my work, my freedom, and my sound, I never hidden my recall. And now I was finished sitting for notice. I wasn't their child anymore. I was their biggest owner. I hadn't thought to begin that day. But hurt has a weird way of focusing your mind, making every item around you into a sign of how much you've offered and how small was ever truly yours. I sat at my table, the mid-morning light throwing neat marks across the wood grain. My computer display showed back at me. Money site open, a big list of planned transfers. It was like seeing at the bones of my family's needs. 5 tubes, all moving with my cash. First, Logan's help deal. 2, 500 auto added on the first of every month. He was 31, still in school, part-time, still hadn't finished his course, still didn't have a job. Press, stop planned transfer. I waited, then pressed OK. A small green tick showed. I felt nothing. No shame, no worry, just a weird stillness. Second, Mom's backup plastic card. The one she named, just in case. Last month, she talked about buying a whole deck chair set because it was on deal. Press, stop, OK. Third, Dad's Ford F-150 rent. Meant to be for shop trips. But I'd noticed the hunting stuff in the back more times than I noticed actual stock. Press, stop, OK. Fourth, the family mobile phone deal. 4 numbers. 1 cost. My cost. The joke of being removed via message on a phone I covered for. Press, stop, OK. Fifth hand, the toughest. Their old age fund. Every month, I moved a kind gift to a shared account. I told myself it was about safety and care. But I was making a tomorrow for folks who hadn't created room for me in theirs. I looked at the display for a long time. Then I pressed, stop, OK. And just like that, the soft, drop of giving ended. I sat back in my seat, the quiet in the room pushing in. It wasn't sadness I felt. It wasn't even easy. It was knowing. Cold. Hard. Clean. For the first time in my grown life, I wasn't on duty. No one was going to message me with just one more ask. No one could push me into one more quick move. No more feeling pressure in the shape of family trust. What I'd just done felt final. It was the kind of choice you don't turn back from. And yet, I wasn't shaking. I wasn't freaking. I was fixing it. Not a bond. Not a family. Myself. My phone rang again, an alarm from my money place confirming the ending of all planned transfers. The timing felt right. They had removed me from dinner. I had just removed them out of my accounts. The funny thing is, they always believed they had the top spot because they had the story. They ran the tale. Camille's so winning. Thank God she helps us. But they forgot. I ran the numbers. And in the end, the numbers always show the truth. The quiet didn't stay long. Barely 12 hours after I hit OK on the last transfer, the storm came in right on time. Logan rang first. His title showed up on my display like a fire bell. I let it ring 4 times before putting the phone on speaker and walking calmly to pour myself a coffee. Camille, what the hell? He spoke before I could say hello. Mr. Collins just rang. My place payment failed. I'm getting hit with a late charge. You didn't send it. I mixed my coffee slowly. Good morning, Logan. Don't play nice. Did you forget? Is your account locked or something? No, I didn't forget, I said clearly. And my account is just okay. There was a stop. I could almost hear the thoughts spinning. You just didn't do it. On purpose. That's right. Why, Camille, my car coverage comes out Monday. My food cards are almost full. What am I meant to do? I drank my coffee. Sounds like a personal money problem. There was quiet on the line. Then I heard her sound, Chloe, talking in the back like poison through a straw. What's wrong with her? Ask her if she's having a meltdown. Logan's sound came back. Thin with worry. This is about Friday evening, isn't it? Look, Chloe just wanted a calm night. You're making this way too big. I said nothing. You're really going to blow the whole family over for dinner? Ask. Grow up. I let out through my nose, steady as rock. Goodbye, Logan. And I hung up. Then stopped the number. 1 down. The next ring came an hour later. Dad, his sound was short, business. Like I was a bad worker in his quarterly check. Camille, I just talked to your sibling. I need you to tell yourself. There's nothing to tell. I said, I've made some fixes to my spending. Spending. He laughed. Your mother's card got turned away at the food store. She had to leave a full cart. That's shameful. She has her own money card, doesn't she? That's empty because we've been putting everything into the shop. Then it sounds like you should look again at your business plan, I said. He didn't like that. His voice fell into a growl. We are members. We made a deal. I'm glad you set that up, I said, almost grinning. Let's look at that deal soon. His sound turned from upset to warning. You are playing with fire, Camille, and folks who play with fire get hurt. And he hung up. Strike 2. That night, it was Mom. She was already weeping when I picked up. Camille, honey, please, what's going on? Your father's walking like a wild man. Logan's beside himself. I said nothing. I'd heard this song before the weak sound, The shame mixed crying. You've always been our tough one, she cried. We just don't get it. It was just dinner. Chloe gets stressed easily. She thought you might be harsh. She said that, I asked, sounding flat. My mother stumbled. Then she said you hold your cash over everyone's minds. That if we ever faced up to you, you'd hurt us. I didn't speak. And now you've shown her right. That was the time. That exact time I knew, I wasn't just left out. They were ready to fight back like I was some boss waiting to blow up. And they trusted her. A cold quiet grew in my chest. They hadn't just picked her. They had practiced with her. Thank you, Mom. I said, my sound empty. You've made things totally clear. I stopped the ring. Then I stood in the middle of my flat, letting the quiet settle again. It was no longer quiet like sadness. This quiet had weight. This quiet was planned. Thursday afternoon smelled like old sheets and shined wood. The kind of smell that only lives in offices where real strength is used quietly. Diana Whitmore hadn't changed a bit. Her grey hair was twisted into a perfect knot. Her pen was the kind you fill with ink, not throw away. Her hand grab was solid, steady, and far nicer than I thought. Camille, she said softly, when I saw your title next to the words, member deal. On my list, I knew something was coming. I sat across from her at a dark table that probably cost more than my first car. I took the tan folder from my bag and put it between us. I need to know, I said, my sound soft but solid, just what this gives me the power to do. She didn't need to see it. She'd made it. I recall this file, Diana said, pulling it with hands that moved like they'd done this 1,000 times. You were just 26. Your father wanted a present, I said no. Then he asked for a loan at a low rate, long time. I said no to that too. She looked up, eyes sharp, because I saw what they were doing. I saw you giving up everything. I saw them naming it care. I worked hard. I wrote this, she went on, tapping a part with her pen, to give you something no one could grab away, a guard, a tomorrow, if they ever pushed you too far. She turned the sheet to face me. Camille Turner, she spoke out loud, shall keep 51% leading share in Morgan Company. Handmade Studio, said biggest stake includes all running choices, voting strength, and the power to hire and remove smaller members, including close family folks. I stared at the rule. The ink had worn a bit, but the words were clear, 51%. Not just a member, the boss, a slow, steady knowing settled into my back. I hadn't just ended their money flow. I kept the keys to the kingdom. Diana sat back. They've lost who really made this house, Camille. You didn't just rescue them, you built them. They wrote this, freely, legally. I nodded, heart slow, mind fast. They're holding a family meeting tomorrow evening, I told her. They think I'm coming to say sorry. Diana grinned thinly. Sounds more like an owner's meeting to me. I almost laughed. I need something, I said, plain, real, a statement, on paper, with your stamp. Something they can't fight with. She was already reaching for her voice box. I'll have it signed by morning. You can grab it up before lunch. As I left her office and stepped into the Seattle air, the wind off the sound hit my face like a reset. All these years, I believed I was weak. Turns out, I was the storm they never saw coming. I stopped on the road, not the path. That felt key, like a mark in the dirt. In my palm was the tan folder, clean and flat, like a sealed ruling. Inside, a signed note on Whitmore, hail paper, pressed and certain. I walked up the front steps of my folks' house like I was entering a court, not a home. And in a way, I was. The door pulled before I hit. My father's shape filled the space. You're late, he said, his sound a low order. No, I answered, I'm right on time. The front room had been set like a trial. My father and his normal leather seat his spot. My mother beside him, a cloth held in her palm like a tool. Logan and Chloe wrapped together on the love seat like a totally practiced show. And across from them, seated straight with a writing pad, was Aunt Valerie. Of course, the family ruler. There was one blank wooden seat in the middle of the room, facing all of them. The asking spot. I didn't sit. We all here tonight, my father started, because we care for you. But your actions this week have been wild, mean, and honestly harmful. My mother sniffed on time. I don't even know you anymore. She said, you used to be so kind, so loving. Chloe blinked fast, eyes big and sweet. She's been weeping for days, Logan said, rubbing her arm. She feels like this is all her fault. I almost laughed. Then came Aunt Valerie. Camille, your folks gave you everything. This trick, removing them off. It's mean, bitter. I've always been feeling, but this is sick. I let the quiet hang. Let their words float in the air like ropes they were too sure to see. And then I stepped ahead and put the tan folder on the center table. The noise of it hitting the wood made all of them jump. What's that? My father yelled. More blame. No, I said calmly. It's a business paper. You recall it, don't you? From 2013, the year I gave you 85, 0 to keep the shop from going down. That was a debt. He snapped. No, I answered. It was a money input. And this, I pushed the signed summary from the folder, is a legal statement of my spot. My sound was steady, cold. Years of quiet, made into a single edge. In trade for that input, I got 51% leading share in Morgan Company. Handmade studio. That includes voting strength, hiring and removing power and all final say in money actions. My father's face lost color. My mother dropped her clothes. That's not real, Logan said, his sound breaking. You fooled them. No, I said softly. They just thought I'd never use it. Chloe's face fell right away. This is crazy, she hissed. You think a piece of sheet makes you queen of the family. I turned to her, looking flat. You're not family, you're a visitor, and your view doesn't count into company rules. Her mouth pulled, then shut. She looked at Logan, but he said nothing. I came here tonight willing to talk about feelings, I said, looking at the room. But you made that impossible. You picked sides, you removed me from the story. My sound broke slightly, but I didn't stop. All I ever wanted was a spot at the table, not rule, just being part, but you made. It is clear that care here is limited and strength is the only talk you know. So let's talk about it, I said, taking out one last sheet. As the biggest owner and head leader, I'm putting new rules right away. My father tried to cut in, I lifted a palm. You too, I nodded at my folks. We'll stay on pay as shop bosses, you'll get fair market wages, checked quarterly. Company money cards are ended, all costs must be cleared. My mother let out a hurt cry. I turned to Logan. You are not working for this business, nor will you get further personal help. I suggest getting a job. Finally, I looked at Chloe and you, this isn't your tale, you're gone. She stood up, angry, but no one moved with her. Even Logan stayed sitting, shocked and white. Aunt Valerie laughed, took her bag, and said, You'll wish this back. No, I said, I'll recall it. Then I picked up the folder, turned toward the door, and walked out. I didn't slam it. I didn't need to. The noise of everything dropping behind me was louder than any door could make. The house was quiet behind me. The kind of quiet that comes with a blast. I didn't look back. Not at the glass, not at the step. I got into my car, set the tan folder on the rider seat, and let out a deep sigh. It wasn't a win, I felt. It was a neat split. No one rang that evening. Not Logan. Not my folks. Even Chloe went radio quiet. But by Monday morning, the move was real. George, the only shop boss who had ever handled me with basic respect, rang me from the place. They're coming up, he said. His sound was low, like he was scared the walls had ears. Your folks, they've been here every day since Saturday. They're quiet, no more free meals. No more yelling at workers. I pulled my computer. In my mail sat 2 PDFs from Diana Whitmore's Office of Digitally Written Work Deals. No notes, no solace. Just marks. It was a soft giving in. I looked at the terms I'd helped write. Title, Co-Bosses, Morgan. Company Handmade Studio, Wage, Mid-Range Shop Running Rate, Field average. Perks, none beyond pay, no more family bills, no more hidden debts dressed as help. Later that week, I got a money card bill, 0 amount. For the first time in over a decade. I took my father from the car rent account. The car place rang to check that the F-150 would be brought back by month's end. I didn't even shake. Then came Logan. Not a ring, not a message, a notice. The auto move he tried to bring back had been turned down. Twice. He never tried a third time. The most shocking bit wasn't the following. It was the peace that came. My phone no longer buzzed with troubles that weren't mine. No more. Can you just handle this? No more. It's only short term. For the first time in years, my cash stayed where it fit, with me. And something weird happened in that soft. I started hearing myself again. I found my old drawing book in a holding box wrapped in wrap next to tax papers. The first picture I made was shaky, full of stiff marks. But the second was better. By the fifth, I'd lost count of time. I made the visitor room into a studio, bought colors without shame. I wasn't changing what I'd lost. I was taking back what had always been mine. I started waking up, not with fear, but with stillness. My home stopped feeling like a staging spot and started feeling like a place. I truly lived. Even George said it. You know, this shop truly makes cash now. Of course it did. Suckers don't just empty accounts. They slow growth. They twist the truth. And once I removed the lines, the whole thing could finally breathe. This wasn't payback. It was fixed. A slow, careful pulling of the lie that family means duty without end. They could still be my folks. They just weren't going to be my lenders, my buyers, or my jails anymore. The plane landed in Florence just in the afternoon. I hadn't told anyone I was going. No online posts. No trip plan. No just-in-case notes. For the first time in my grown life, I went somewhere without asking for okay or sharing my use. It was quick and soft-picked, with the press of a button on a Friday evening, wine glass half full, a soft jazz record turning in the back. I stayed in a simple flat near the Arno River, just over a bread place that made the whole building smell like sugar and rising dough. Every morning, the bells from Santa Croce woke me gently. No beeps. No wants. I walked without a goal. I took shots I never thought to share. I asked for food without looking at my total. No messages. No family group talks. No shame. On my third day, I walked past a sign that spoke, clay workshop, one-day class. New folks welcome. Something in me stopped. Not because I needed a fresh skill, but because I missed using my hands for something that wasn't living. The studio was small and warm. Clay red shelves lined the walls, filled with rough bowls and wrong vases. The teacher and older woman named Alessia spoke, small English but smiled. With her whole body. She put a ball of wet clay in front of me and simply said, "Turn." It was rough at first. My hands were stiff, unsure. But as the wheel turned, I stopped thinking, stopped fixing, stopped waiting for it. I just felt the bowl I made was ugly, wide, crooked, but it was mine. That evening, I walked home with clay under my nails and the smallest hurt in my shoulders. And for the first time in years, I slept without thinking of numbers, costs, or titles. When I came back to Seattle, I didn't go straight back to work. I colored the walls in my guest room. I asked canvases, true ones. I picked up a fresh set of oils, not the cheap kind. Not for practice, for fun. The first pictures were messy, red, black, fast. Feeling strokes. I didn't try to make anything nice. I just wanted to empty out everything. I'd kept quiet. And then one day I added blue, navy blue, the same shade from that grant note all those years back. My cousin Harper stopped by one afternoon and stood quietly in the door of my studio. "You look different," she said. "You look not worn." I smiled. That's because I finally stopped trying for a spot at a table I made. It came on a Tuesday afternoon. A number I didn't know. Local zone mark. No title. For a moment, I almost let it go to Recording. But something told me to pick. Hello. Quiet. Then a soft, worn sound. Camille. It's Logan. I didn't answer. Not right away. He rushed to fill the gap. I'm not calling to ask for anything. He said quickly. I swear. Can I talk to you? For a minute. I stayed quiet. Then you have one. He took a breath and I could hear it, the load behind it. Not practiced. Not guarded. I got a job. He said, storage work. I'm on my feet. 10 hours a day. Carrying boxes. It's rough. And 3 evenings a week I clean plates at a dinner on the south side. He let out a joyless laugh. It's the first time I've ever been worn for the right causes. I said nothing. She left, he added. Chloe packed up and left while I was at work. Said I had no path without the cash. Took the TV you gave me. That got a spark from me. I recalled that Christmas present. She always liked the control more than the shows. I was mad at first, he said. At her, at you, at Mom and Dad. But mostly, at myself. Another stop. For years I believed you wanted to do all that. That helping made you feel big. I never asked what it cost you. His sound broke. Camille, you gave me my world and I acted like it was mine by right. Like you owed me. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't cry. But my palm held the phone tighter. It doesn't fix anything, he added. I know that. I needed you to hear it. Quiet again. Not weird. Just real. Thank you for calling. I said. My sound is soft. I won't bug you again. He said quickly. Thank you. He was about to hang up when I stopped him. Logan. Yeah. Keep going. He was quiet for a second. Then. Okay. He hung up. I sat there in my kitchen, surrounded by light and unfinished canvases, looking out the glass. The city moved on. Around me. Life didn't stop. But something inside me finally did. It wasn't letting go. Not yet. But it was a start. I used to trust that being a good child meant fading. Behind hopes, behind givings, behind other folks' tomorrows. Now I know better. You don't have to give everything away to be worthy of care. You don't have to be kind to the point of dying. Lines aren't turning away. Quiet isn't peace. And sometimes, walking away is the only way to come home. To yourself. When I looked in the glass that evening, I didn't see the dutiful child. I saw the maker, the woman, the one who made her own closing. And finally, started. Again.